Ferrari had a really good race in Suzuka. Even though their cars started in not-so-great spots on the grid at 4th and 8th place, they did something pretty cool. They made their tires last for almost the whole race when most other cars had to change tires twice. This shows that Ferrari's new car, called the SF24, is getting much better. And guess what? They haven't even brought all their new car parts yet. The big upgrade they planned for Suzuka got pushed back to a race called Imola. After hearing what the drivers and team boss said, and looking at how much faster they are compared to last year's race, Ferrari fans have lots of good things to look forward to for the rest of 2024. One of the most important things during the Suzuka race was to take care of the tires so they wouldn't wear out too fast. Nobody did this better than Charles Leclerc. If you look at this chart, you can see that the Monaco driver's tires wore out the least of everyone on the track, only losing half a second per lap because of normal tire wear. To show you how good that is, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez lost about 1.2 seconds per lap because their tires wore out faster. The only reason Ferrari couldn't fight closer with Red Bull is that Red Bull's cars are still faster during the race. Red Bull is still the best with about 0.3 of a second faster per lap than Ferrari. But it's worth knowing that Red Bull has already started putting new upgrades on their car, while Ferrari will take their first big step in 2 races at Imola last year. The gap between Leclerc and the race winner Max Verstappen was more than 40 seconds, and Ferrari wasn't even the second fastest team back then. That was McLaren. Right now, the difference is only about 21 seconds if you look at Carlos Sainz's result. While that's still too much to make up, it shows that Ferrari is taking really big steps forward. We know that in this sport you can't fix everything overnight, so we have to give Ferrari credit where it's due. Their smart racing plans, combined with better airflow around the car and better tire wear, have worked amazingly well to keep them close behind Red Bull's RB20 car. The gap between Sainz and Perez was only about 8 seconds. When talking about the race, Sainz was super happy with what his car gave him, especially since they were fighting against Red Bull's much more upgraded car. He said, "I had a good race. To be honest, I was very happy because it was quite tough out there with the tire wear. But then suddenly clouds came, the tire wear went way down, and suddenly I thought that maybe stopping once was faster and we were planning to stop twice. I had to pass a lot of cars out there today and yeah, passing was tricky honestly. I thought it was going to be very difficult to get back into 4th place or on the podium after my last pit stop, given how tricky it was to pass the Mercedes. On the second part of the race and how difficult it was to follow, I was quick on those hard tires. I really liked how the hard tires gave me a good feeling to push and I could get the moves done and get that podium. Obviously the plan between Sainz and Leclerc was different and there was no need to put themselves in a tough spot with a battle between teammates on track. So it was clear that Sainz would once again be the Ferrari driver who showed up as the fastest challenger, which gives the Italian team a lot to think about when it comes to planning their future. Even so, team boss Frederic Vasseur had a lot to be thankful for, according to what he said. Because this time last year his team wasn't even the second fastest in the first place, let alone having the chance to be close to Red Bull. Although Red Bull looks like they're in their own league, they might not have as much confidence and advantage as they seem to have in the past. Couple of years talking more about the tire wear issue. Vasseur went on to say, "Honestly, I think that everything went very well on Sunday. The strategy was a good one for both cars depending on where they were on track. Tire management was under control, the pit stops went well, and the speed was okay. I'm really convinced that we had a good Sunday. If we have to change something, it's more on Saturday that we have to improve than on Sunday, but it was a good job and good teamwork." Now one couldn't help but wonder where Leclerc would have finished if he had been able to start higher up on the grid. But even though Vasseur was happy with the racing plans throughout the entire race weekend, the mistakes during the practice sessions, like not leaving the garage on time and not doing enough practice laps, as well as a sudden lack of speed on Saturday, shows that there is still work to be done in the upcoming races. While many people will be looking to the first sprint race of the season in China, a track that comes back after 5 years away from the calendar for things to get exciting, the eyes of F1 technical experts are focused on Imola. That's the race where Ferrari is ready to bring out the 2.0 version of their SF24 car with a huge improvement in how air flows around the car. Even so, Vasseur was extremely happy with how Leclerc took care of his tires. When being asked about managing the Monaco driver's car, Fred went on to say, "It went well with both sets of tires. And when you say the first stint, it's after the second start, which was the red flag restart. But both stints went very well, because we pit stopped quite early. I think the last stint was something like 30 laps with the hard tires, and it was quite ambitious if you look at what Mercedes did. But honestly, we had very low tire wear, and I don't know if we were able to do 20 laps more, but I don't think so. It was still under control and we had the possibility to extend a little bit. But then it was more a matter of tire management, position management and so on. Well, as you already know by now, the advantage that Red Bull's RB20 has is mostly from how air flows around the car, and this is where the rest of the teams struggle to match their speed. But with Ferrari convinced that they have a stable base to bring upgrades too. It's safe to assume that the SF24 will be a lot more competitive in Imola. Even though in this race, Red Bull will also see the second part of their upgrades being brought as well. The small rays of hope were given to the fans of the sport during Friday's third practice session speed tests, where Ferrari seemed a lot faster than Red Bull's RB20. Although a lot of things come into play, such as engine power settings and how much fuel they had. Even Red Bull admitted that Ferrari's race speed has improved a lot, and it could be a huge problem that they would have to be careful of for the rest of the season. The upgrades in Imola will not only improve how air flows around the car by bringing a new side panel design as well as a new floor, but they will also take care of the dirty air hitting the tires and therefore wearing them out too early. What Ferrari is working towards is a solution that will let them get more energy out of the tires but with a smaller wear rate. Something we saw in Suzuka with some changes in the car setup and without any major upgrade package being brought from the Ferrari factory in Italy. Exciting enough for Ferrari and all the F1 fans out there. Sainz is not expecting his team to perform without any problems in Shanghai, as he thinks that everyone will struggle on the track that has not been part of the F1 calendar for 5 straight years because of the COVID pandemic. And on top of that, it's going to be a sprint weekend where the teams will have zero to no time to prepare themselves and learn as much as they can about the car in just 1 hour of practice. Explaining more about this matter, Sainz went on to say, "I think it's going to be a tough weekend for everyone, and I think going into a sprint race on a track that we've not been on in 4 or 5 years, with only 1 hour of practice is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a good one. Let's get a couple of good weeks to keep training and keep recovering, and I'll get back in China flat out." Well, with all this in mind, do you think that Ferrari's tire wear improvements have helped them get over the long-standing problems that ruined their races for such a long period of time? And more importantly, do you think that in the next couple of races they can bring themselves even closer to Red Bull, no matter how silly that might sound at this moment? Let us know in the comments down below.